There are several ways to get around London. You can catch a cab, catch the bus, take a bike, walk, or you could catch the most famous underground railway system in the world. Created in 1863, the Underground gave people an effective means of travel when the surface was too congested to accommodate. Now, many think that these tunnels were the first railway tunnels in London, but in fact, there was another that had been established 30 years prior. So let's go back to then, to those early days. The Liverpool and Manchester Railway had just been unveiled, and the engineers behind the line were on top of the world. It proved steam power locomotives were the way forward, powering those early railways to be proposed. The railway also had a lot of firsts, including being fully signalled, carrying mail, and be double-tracked. The railway showed how it could be done, and the same principle could be applied anywhere. 3 years after the Liverpool and Manchester Railway opened, a new company was formed with the purpose of creating a railway line from London to Birmingham, a distance of 112 miles. To engineer this project, the company was keen to get Robert Stephenson on board. Robert had been elevated to near celebrity status across the engineering world. An undertaking like this intrigued him. He proposed the location of the new line run from the borough of Camden to Curzon Street Station in Birmingham. The land outside Euston Station was steep as far as engines go, but fairly quiet save for the odd street or two. With the railways on the doorstep, the land was being eyed by developers. Now, the land belonged to the world-famous Eton College. The college boasted the largest boarding school in the UK, teaching boys for hundreds of years, and wealthy landowners would often gift land to the college in appreciation. As such, though it was a school, it was a major player in the landowner market. Unfortunately for the railway, they happened to own the land that the railway wanted to pass through, and they were not happy. Robert's plan was a cutting through the centre of the land, but this was swiftly rejected. The college, while wealthy, needed the land for both current and future revenue, and while the railways did bring money with them, plonking a railway across a kilometre of prime real estate was not in the college's best interests. But Robert was ready to negotiate. He desperately wanted to find a way to appease both the railway and the college, but the college refused to any overground line. Then Robert proposed a plan. Why not underground? Eton was surprised but happy with the plan, and agreed providing certain conditions were met. To avoid the topsoil being disturbed, the tunnel should be bored out where possible, and to keep in line with upper classes moving into the area, the eastern end of the tunnel should be made to an aesthetically pleasing standard with ornamental brickwork. Stephenson unusually gave the work to make it good to a man called William Budden. Now, this architect was not well known, and there was already an established architect within the company. What made him choose William was not really known, but with 5% of the budget going to this part alone, just to keep the college happy, it was a risky gamble. In 1834, the ground was ready to be cut. Contractors Jackson and Sheldon employed hundreds of men for the task, and while the cut and cover method was kind of out of the question, shafts were agreed and dug along the tunnel's route, then extended lengthways to meet up with fellow shafts. Once done, the shafts would then be filled back in. It created less damage than the cut and cover and could easily be hidden. However, the land wasn't just the usual mud, but what the railway dubbed as London clay. This clay wreaked havoc on the standard tools, and when dried would expand, creating additional pressure on the walls. The only redeeming factor about the stuff was that it kept the water out. But what they saved in pumps, they lost in damages. Because of the clay and the way it expanded, lining the tunnel was tricky. The expansion put pressure on the brick lining and forced out the mortar. Stephenson witnessed it firsthand, as he would often get pelted with shards of brick as the pressure behind them forced them together, cracking them. It really made him think, and for the first time he did have doubts whether he could engineer this. To help combat it, he instructed the builders to build an extra thick brick lining, and while the mortar set strong, timber props helped keep the lining in place. The props also came in handy when strengthening the roof. Progress slowed as the builders couldn't excavate very far from the edge of the lining due to the edges being the weakest points. To add extra strength, quick-drying Roman mortar and specialist London brick was also used. In 1834, construction came to an unexpected halt as the builders suddenly became bankrupt. With the project well underway, Stephenson was left to pick up the pieces, with a ton of other projects under his feet, plus the rest of the line to oversee. He appointed fellow engineer John Birkinshaw to take over the project. After the tunnel was finished and the tracks laid, the tunnel came under inspection. Not just the structural kind, but several doctors were asked to travel and inspect the tunnel. There were concerns amongst the populace that being in a tunnel with a steam locomotive could be detrimental to the passengers' health. Although this was the era where those opposed to the railway would be happy to spread rumours about health and railways, there may have been a grain of truth in this. The Victorians knew that smoke was dangerous, and there was concerns that it would linger in the tunnel. But after several trips, the tunnel ventilation appeared to do its job, and the doctors were satisfied to sign it off. The opening of the tunnel drew in crowds from all over the city, especially the scenic end. Soon, as Euston predicted, people began to settle on the site, and it was only a few years before both entrances were surrounded by houses, and the excitement of the new engines was passed on to youngsters and the first rail fans. In 1852, the company running the line was merged with others to create the London North Western Railway, and was one of the largest railways in the area. The extra lines and the additional traffic put pressure on the tunnel, and it quickly became a bottleneck. The only option was a second tunnel to double the number of lines from 2 to 4. William Baker, chief engineer of the line, was tasked with this work. Instead of following Stephenson's tunnel and go straight, he built his tunnel on a curve and to accommodate the hill. The tunnel is taller than its predecessor. The second tunnel, although longer, proved perfect for express runs. In 1912, the Underground had reached the area. By now the area was filled with houses and communities, so commuting was getting more popular. The Underground links would mean quicker services, with stops closer to more destinations. 2 new tunnels were built for the network, only these would be purely electric lines, with the line running for Watford but linking to other underground services. Today the tunnels are still in heavy use, with various private railways offering services, taking just under an hour and a half, with single fares starting from as little as £20. The underground side is run from overground services, however they still provide commuter services every few minutes. The tunnel for many years was considered a great feat of engineering, and many would marvel at the elaborate entrance. As it stands, it is a Grade II listed building and is supported by the Camden Heritage Railway Trust, eager to promote, protect and educate the heritage of the area, including the famous tunnel, the one that truly holds the title as being the first London Underground tunnel.